Fortnite. It's one of the most played video games in the world that helped popularize an entirely new genre of battle royale shooters and has massively impacted both pop culture and internet culture in a variety of ways. For better or for worse, I'll let you be the judge of that. With literally millions of people playing the game at any given time, there's ample opportunity for humorous interactions, gamer rage, and hijinks to take place as a result of Fortnite. While much silliness has spawned from the popularity of this game, what's often not talked about are the various arrests and criminal cases stemming from Fortnite's existence. Yes, there are people out there literally going to jail over what is essentially a children's video game. Today, I'd like to invite you all to pour up a chug jug and come with me as we explore some of the most bizarre Fortnite crimes. One of the most controversial criminal affairs stemming from Fortnite is the case of Mr. DeadMoth. It's a sad story involving an online Fortnite content creator being exposed for brutal domestic violence. This story begins back in 2018 when Fortnite was beginning to peak in popularity. And the subject of this tale is 26-year-old Australian gamer Luke Monday, more commonly known by his online alias Mr. DeadMoth. Luke had a job working for Telstra Communications, but his true passion was gaming. Luke, or Mr. DeadMoth, like many others at this time, dreamed of being an online streamer and content creator. He wanted to make this his career instead, and he had been attempting this for some time, initially beginning as a Call of Duty commentary channel on YouTube in the early 2010s. The man toiled in the content creation space for years, failing time and time again to muster anything more than a meager income from his videos. However, things changed with the release of Fortnite. After years of fruitless efforts, DeadMoth finally found what he likely thought was his digital salvation. As in the spring of 2018, DeadMoth began streaming himself playing Fortnite, and to the man's surprise, his Twitch channel found unprecedented success, at least in the context of his own online career thus far. Be it the man's skill at the game or simply the novelty of Fortnite at the time, Luke's DeadMoth streams drew in small crowds, and it was beginning to look like his years of hard work in the online content creation space were finally going to pay off. However, unfortunately though, just as DeadMoth had finally accrued a fan base, he would be exposed for something on stream that turned the internet against him and essentially destroyed his career in an instant. On December 9th of 2018, during a Fortnite stream initiated by Mr. DeadMoth, an argument ensued between him and his partner of 5 years, Grace Campbell. Grace was 4 months pregnant at the time with their third child. The heated dispute would be broadcasted live in front of fans.
Yes, I'll be, yes, okay, I'll be out soon. Just wait! Jesus Christ, I'll be out soon, stop! Stop! I'll be out soon. Grace, stop.
It all started when Grace asked Luke to take a break from streaming and come eat dinner with her and the family. A seemingly innocuous request, but Luke would refuse to oblige it.
Stop, please. I'll be out soon. Grace, just stop. Okay, please. I'll be out soon. I'm gonna start typing. I'll be out soon. I will be out soon. Grace, I'll be out soon.
Frustrated at what apparently had become a pattern of family neglect from DeadMoth, she then allegedly tossed an object in the man's direction to further get his attention.
Fuck off. Honestly, I'll be out soon. Stop. I'll start throwing shit back at you. See how you like it. I'll be out soon. I will... Can you not? I said I'll be out soon.
In the video, it appears objects continued to be tossed at DeadMoth's direction. He then becomes enraged, and well, I think the next clip really speaks for itself.
Stop.
No computer. I'm sick of this shit.
Stop, please. I'll be out soon. Just stop.
Don't hit me in the face.
Okay, I'll be out soon.
No, you hit me in the face.
I will be out soon. Go on.
After this slap, the two quarrel for a bit, with Grace demanding an apology from Luke. However, no apology is granted, and the conflict escalates further.
No, you hit me in the face.
I will be out soon. Go away.
Don't you dare touch my face.
Go away. Go away.
No, not until I make my point.
Fuck off.
I
You
don't
made
care
your
if you're
point.
lying.
I don't
I'll
care.
make my point.
I don't care.
I'm sick of it.
I'll be out soon.
I'm sick of it.
Go away. I will be out soon. Seriously, it's not necessary.
You can say sorry for hitting me in the
I will
face.
say sorry, but I'll come out and
No,
say
you say sorry
I will
now.
say sorry.
You
Go.
say sorry now.
Go away!
Disturbing instances of familial violence such as this occur around the world every day, and for most of these cases, nothing is ever done about it. However, thankfully in this case, Mr. DeadMoth's alleged assault had just been live streamed for the entire internet to see. And we all know how the internet gets when folks witness an undeniable injustice play out on the web. The internet was going to make sure that this guy got what he deserved. The troops were rallied and online cyber sleuths began work in unmasking Mr. DeadMoth's identity and dug up other information about him so that they could report him to the proper authorities. In short time, Mr. DeadMoth was identified as 26-year-old Australian man Luke Monday of Oran Park in South Sydney. Twitch was also notified of the incident as well. Not only was Mr. DeadMoth issued a permanent ban from Twitch following this incident, he was also arrested by the Sydney police and charged with common assault, all thanks to the reports of anonymous internet users. Luke, now facing an assault charge, was interviewed by detectives shortly after his arrest. He would tell these detectives that he wasn't the only one responsible for abuse in the household, and claimed that Grace was also liable for some abuse as well. He relayed that he only acted in self-defense in this particular situation, claiming that his violent reaction was in response to her grabbing at his computer gear and allegedly throwing objects at him. While detectives worked to get to the bottom of what was really going on in this house, the court ordered Luke to separate from Grace for the time being. He had to move in with his grandmother. While Luke, aka Mr. DeadMoth, was compelled to take a sabbatical from the internet, this didn't stop the online world from discussing him. DeadMoth was made into a Twitch pariah of sorts, with countless Reddit threads and Twitter posts chastising the man for his undeniably egregious behavior. The goodwill that Mr. DeadMoth had built within the YouTube and Twitch community, all the hard work in a half-decade or so of content creation, wiped out in an instant. And in addition to his online career being destroyed, Luke found his employment at Telstra Communications disrupted because of the incident. Needless to say, despite him losing everything, it would be a challenge to find anyone feeling sympathetic for the guy. Rather, most wanted what they saw as justice, that being they wanted Luke behind bars. However, unfortunately for these people, Luke was never given such a punishment, as a new twist would enter this online controversy. In July of 2019, Luke would plead guilty to slapping his pregnant partner. However, Grace, the alleged victim in the case, was charged with common assault herself. This apparently resulting from the woman throwing a kettle at Luke on an occasion that was separate from the live streaming incident. Yes, it sadly seems that there was something of a culture of abuse in this household. A statement from the Sydney police says, quote, "The woman allegedly assaulted the man and he sustained minor injuries. Miss Campbell was charged with 2 counts of common assault, domestic violence assault, occasioning actual bodily harm, and contravening a domestic AVO. While I'm unable to ascertain the result of Grace's charges, Luke would eventually be sentenced for his crime. In 2019, the man was given a 14-month community corrections order, essentially a form of probation granted to the man for good behavior during the time between his criminal act and his trial. I'm unsure of the exact details of this correction order, but I would imagine it involved him being frequently checked in on by a court officer, him being compelled to stay away from Grace, and also likely limited his capacity to maintain an online presence. While many online were disappointed with this outcome, if you look at this situation from a bigger picture, it's honestly miraculous that Luke was even caught, because what are the chances of something like this being caught on live stream? If it wasn't because of this stream and the anonymous people online that reported him, there would have never been an investigation into Luke or Grace. And this cycle of abuse could have continued for some time, and maybe would have even potentially put their children in danger. In what's likely one of the highest profile criminal cases surrounding Fortnite, that was the story of Mr. DeadMoth. Before we get into our next story, a brief message from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Keeps, and to begin the ad, let's look at my hair from some old videos back in 2020. Yeah, as you can see, your boy was losing hair and losing it fast. Now, I didn't feel like going bald, so I decided to do something about my hair loss and got started with Keeps, and the results have been pretty insane. Here's me at 6 months after starting Keeps, a year after starting, 2 years after starting, And then there's me right now at almost 3 years after starting, and I gotta say, your boy's looking pretty good. Keeps offers generic versions of the 2 FDA-approved hair loss products at a can't-beat price, and best of all, you skip the trip to the doctor's office and pharmacy. Keeps will set you up with a prescriber online and ship your prescription right to your front door, and in 4 to 6 months, you should start seeing results. Look, I stand by Keeps. I've been using this stuff for a good majority of my YouTube career at this point. It works. So if you're a guy out there that's been having some anxiety about hair loss, there's no better time than now to start Keeps. Hair loss stops with Keeps. If interested, you can go to www.keeps.com/wavy to take advantage of their special offer. Gamer rage is something we all deal with from time to time.
Man, I'm gonna break my monitor, I swear!
Yes, a momentary lapse of temper is inevitable in competitive gaming, and for the most part, these outbursts are harmless. Note I said for the most part, as some gamers are so unhinged, their saltiness really knows no bounds, and their temper flare-ups actually land them in jail. As was the case with enraged gamer 45-year-old Michael Alaperti. Michael Alaperti is a 45-year-old man from Huntington, New York. The man owned and operated a landscaping business at the time, and when he wasn't landscaping, he played Fortnite. On September 17th of 2018, Michael was deep in the trenches of Fortnite. On this particular evening, though, he found himself struggling and was getting washed by nearly everyone that he encountered on the map. He was getting fucked up by players left and right, but there was one guy in this game that really got under his skin. Noting the incompetence of Michael's play, an 11-year-old boy from Long Island, New York, playing under an anonymous pseudonym, targeted Michael's character. It said that the 11-year-old played with his food a bit, shooting at Michael with low-tier weapons in an effort to create a purposely drawn-out fight, only to eventually later kill Michael and steal all of his items. The 45-year-old had been completely bodied by an 11-year-old. Apparently, after getting fucked up all night, this was the last straw for Mr. Alaperti, as after getting completely obliterated by this 11-year-old, around 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Michael would threaten the child by text and voice messages sent on Xbox. These messages saying that he was going to shoot the 11-year-old.
I will come to your house tonight and fuck your world up. I'm gonna find you with a gun.
Finding these threats somewhat concerning, the 11-year-old would share them with his parents, and the police were notified. As a result of his gamer rage, on September 18th of 2018, at approximately 1:40 in the morning, Michael Alaperti was arrested at his Long Island home and charged with second-degree aggravated harassment and acting in a manner to injure a child. In New York, aggravated second-degree harassment is a crime that punishes individuals who engage in certain actions that are intended to annoy, threaten, or cause another person fear for their safety. It's a Class A misdemeanor. Michael's bail was set at $2,500, and an order of protection was issued against him by the boy's family. Sometime after this incident, news crews would go to Michael's neighborhood and tell his neighbors what happened, and this is their takes on the matter.
Neighbors reacted.
Disturbing, inappropriate, not okay on every level.
The 45-year-old needs to find something better to do with his time than playing video games with an 11-year-old.
So many parents out there who are not managing their children's time on social media as well as games.
There's not really any additional updates to share about Michael regarding this situation, but needless to say, keep your gamer rage in check, boys. It seems like Fortnite players and the people that consume online Fortnite content are under the age of 18 or kids. I don't have a stat on that, but it just seems that way. And with that said, many Fortnite content creators, be it their intention or not, have fan bases that are largely comprised of children. Nothing inherently wrong with this on the surface, and there are dozens upon dozens of big streamers with kid fan bases where there's nothing wrong. That being said, there are a small handful of disturbing cases where this situation has proved to be extremely problematic, as with the case of RaulZito. RaulZito, real name Raulino de Oliveira Maciel, was a Brazilian content creator known for streaming Fortnite and was also known for his colorful beard that was dyed pink. Aside from streaming, he had some connections in the television industry as well, with Raul being a presenter for SBT Games, the gaming division for the Brazilian television network SBT. On Raul's Twitch channel, he would routinely stream Fortnite to his young audience, his content growing in popularity alongside the game. This guy was somewhat of a big deal in Latin America. At his peak, Raul had 117,000 followers on Twitch, 149,000 subscribers on YouTube, and close to 159,000 followers on Instagram. While many Fortnite entertainers tend to despise their child audience, Raul was different in the sense that he seemed to embrace them. The man was said to have often interacted with children on his channel, and would sometimes even invite them on stream to play games with him. To further exemplify the man's welcoming attitude towards children, Raul's YouTube channel banner showcased a cartoon version of himself portrayed as a scoutmaster-like character, frolicking in a field with what appeared to be a bunch of children. While there's nothing inherently wrong with creating content for a child audience, I only explain all this stuff to sort of contextualize the horrific allegations I'm about to fill you in on regarding this guy. As this once thought to be wholesome, zany, and quirky pink-bearded content creator was nothing more than a monster. In July of 2021, reports surfaced alleging Raul of predatory behavior targeting minors. These reports allege that Raul used his status as a content creator and Brazilian television industry worker to groom children. According to reports, his ruse involved him contacting children on apps like Instagram and offering them, potential networking opportunities for these kids that wanted to be actors or get into TV or perhaps become gaming content creators themselves. The ages of these alleged victims that Raul reached out to are reported to be from the ages of 10 to 14. This man's alleged activity was exposed after one of the child's mothers reached out to the police and claimed that their son had suffered sexual abuse from the months of February to May of 2021. Another child also claimed to have been sexually abused as well by Raul. Raul is literally accused of raping children under the age of 14. In the wake of these allegations, on July 27th of 2021, RaulZito would be arrested in the city of Florianopolis and Santa Catarina on charges of, quote, rape of the vulnerable. In Brazil, this specific charge is given to people that victimize individuals under the age of 14. Initially, when this bizarre story first hit the press, many initially didn't talk about it because they were confused as if it was actually RaulZito that was being implicated of these crimes, just because of how shocking they were. However, any doubts that RaulZito was the one being investigated were squashed after SBT Games, the television network that he worked for, issued a statement regarding the matter. Below is a note from SBT Games about events involving streamer RaulZito. Raulino de Oliveira Maciel, known as RaulZito, is no longer part of the SBT Games streamers, of which he has been a part of since last year, and therefore had no right to use the broadcaster's name in negotiations outside of SBT Games properties. SBT awaits the clarification of the facts and the results of the investigation, which resulted in the YouTuber's arrest this Tuesday morning. In August of 2021, about a month after Raul's arrest for alleged SA, Twitch, the platform that he streamed on the most, would finally ban him, and with that, Raul's streaming empire had collapsed. Following his arrest, 7 more children came forward reporting abuse, which resulted in additional charges being levied against Raul. If found guilty, this man could face up to 15 years in prison. As has been mentioned numerous times in this video, there are a lot of kids that play Fortnite. And kids like to shit talk each other. Our next story involves some kids that shit talked each other so much that one of their fathers stepped in, resulting in a physical altercation, which bizarrely enough brings us to a bizarre story involving San Francisco 49ers player Chikezi Okafor assaulting someone. Chike Okafor is an accomplished athlete. In the early 90s, while playing high school football, he became a finalist for the Indiana Mr. Football Award and co-captained his team to the 1993 state championship. Chike was offered scholarships and decided to play college football at West Lafayette, Indiana for Purdue University. A competitive player with somewhat of a temper, it's important to note that during his tenure as a college athlete, Chike was suspended from Purdue's football team in 1997 for poor conduct that was, quote, detrimental to the team. Despite this setback, Chike would return to Purdue's football team and play defensive end, a position that he had quite a bit of success with. Chike would go on to play for the National Football League, playing for multiple teams throughout his career, including the 49ers, the Seattle Seahawks, and the Arizona Cardinals. Chike retired from the NFL in 2010. Now fast forward to the present and Fortnite. Chike himself wasn't a big Fortnite player, but his son certainly was. The former athlete's son played Fortnite near constantly and frequently would compete with another child who was a neighbor of the family, the two often visiting each other's homes to cooperatively compete in battle royales and also playing with each other online as well. Despite playing with each other regularly, these two kids were said to have had something of a quarrelsome relationship, often getting enraged and trash-talking each other over headsets when they lost in duos. This contentious state of affairs also seemed to extend with Chike, the boy's father, and the parents of the neighbor kid as well. As it said, there was some unspoken animosity between the two families for unspecified reasons. And one day in December of 2022, this animosity would boil over. In December of 2022, Chike's son was playing Fortnite online with the neighbor's son. And apparently at some point during the play session, the boys got into a bit of a spat over voice chat. This argument was overheard by Chike and left him extremely irritated, with Chike, I guess, feeling that this neighbor kid was picking on his son. Apparently this had been happening somewhat frequently, and it must have been the straw that broke the camel's back because Chike would become enraged. After the voice chat altercation between Chike's son and the neighbor kid, the former professional football player brazenly stormed his way over to his neighbor's household and barged in to confront the kid and his family over what he thought was bullying. Shocked by the enraged man's unannounced visit, the family naturally demanded him to leave, but Chike wasn't going nowhere. According to police reports, Chike rushed into his neighbor's home and picked up the boy's father, the former defensive end, body slamming and throwing the man against the wall, while also at one point delivering a vicious karate chop to the guy. The mother of the neighbor kid, hearing the commotion from upstairs, ran down to break up the fight. She was unsuccessful in this regard and called police. The spectacle was quite the dramatic affair, and it said that screaming could be heard throughout the entire neighborhood. When police arrived, they heard these screams and barged into the residence with guns drawn. And when police walked in, Chike stopped beating the shit out of his neighbor. While he certainly got the best of the neighbor kid's dad, he was going to be facing some criminal charges now. Chike would be arrested and charged with battery with injury and residential entry. The man would post bond shortly after being arrested. When shit talk between kids results in an enraged former NFL player beating up his neighbor, that was the story of Chike. When playing games online, you never know who you might run into, and there's some people out there that are willing to take advantage of you, such as the case of the Fortnite Carjacker. This story all begins in the spring of 2021 after a group of Fortnite players formed a Snapchat community to post memes and talk about the game together. While this group wasn't implicitly created to facilitate criminal activity, what people didn't realize was that there was an individual in this group that was capable of some pretty foul shit. That individual being Sterling Christopher Butler, a 20-year-old from Dorchester County in South Carolina. In April of 2021, Sterling, using an anonymous pseudonym, would make friends with the victim of this story in the Snapchat group chat. The two would become friends, discussing strategies to use in-game, and often played with each other online and communicated. Sterling and his would-be victim's acquaintanceship seemingly would turn into a friendship of sorts. And at one point, Sterling would bring up the idea of meeting in real life. Little did the individual he was meeting up with know that he had plans for criminal activity. Sterling's plot involved him contacting this individual through Snapchat and telling them to wait in a public location, presumably so that they could meet up, hang out, and go play Fortnite together. This individual would oblige the request and waited for Sterling at a specified location. After some time, the victim was approached by a man wearing khaki pants, a black sweater, and a purple bandana. This individual, who was indeed Sterling, had no intentions of playing games with this guy. Sterling ordered his Fortnite gaming buddy to get out of the car. The victim complied, and as he got out, he noticed 3 other men dressed similarly to Sterling, brandishing weapons. Sterling and his goons got into the car and they drove off. He had been carjacked by a Fortnite player. The Fortnite victim would report this bizarre catfish robbery-style incident to police. As cops began to investigate, they asked about his Fortnite buddy Sterling, and when the gamer went to look him up on his phone, he found out that he had been blocked. The police, however, were able to subpoena Snapchat for the IP address that would eventually lead to an email address associated with Sterling. It's important to note that the victim in this case didn't know that Sterling's name was Sterling this entire time. I've only been saying it like that to make the story more comprehensible. This information would allow them to connect the Snapchat account with Sterling. The police were also able to locate the stolen car, which was parked at a North Charleston apartment complex in South Carolina. Police would investigate this complex, eventually leading them to the arrest of Sterling Christopher Butler, the 20-year-old Fortnite fraudster of sorts. Sterling was thrown in jail and hit with various charges relating to robbery. If I was to tell you a Fortnite player was arrested, you would probably assume the reason for this was sexual assault or they possess CP or something like that. Well, that wasn't the case for this Japanese Fortnite player put in handcuffs. Yude Nishiwaka is a Japanese Fortnite content creator who goes by the name Neko-Kun. Neko-Kun began making content in 2018 and had a heavy focus on Fortnite in his streams. The man's channel now boasts over 900,000 subscribers, and Neko-Kun has been quite active in Fortnite's competitive scene, with his gaming team known as Mr. Clan. Unfortunately for Neko though, around the peak of his career, he would get into some legal trouble. And like I said earlier, it's not what you might expect. It all begins on March 11th of 2022 when a young Japanese man was arrested and taken to jail. When this anonymous individual was in jail, police searched his belongings and discovered 1.2 grams of cocaine in his possession, this coke being stored in a bag. However, when questioned, this man would claim that it wasn't his coke and was in fact his friend's Yude, or Neko-Kun. Upon hearing this, Neko was compelled to be interrogated himself, and at this time, detectives would end up finding a half a gram of marijuana in his belongings while he was being searched. And according to reports, Neko was charged with both possession of coke and marijuana. And the way they're handling this just sounds ridiculous, but I really have to boil it down to being some Japanese shit because that country has a no fucking tolerance policy when it comes to drugs. I'm also very interested in reading you Neko's explanation of how he got the marijuana. He says this, quote, 2.5 years ago, I bought it from a black person in one of Tokyo's bar districts. I smoked marijuana to act cool, but smoking it makes you zone out and you can't play video games well. So I made a point to not smoke while I was playing. While I'm unable to ascertain the punishment that Neko received from this situation, I can tell you that as a result of it, he lost a sponsorship with Omen Computers.
Neko-Kun. In response to the news about Neko-Kun, we will end our sponsorship activities for Mr. Clan,
which was his gaming team. And that's really all there is to report on this one. With Fortnite being as popular as it is, it's no surprise that it's one of the most streamed games on the internet. Many streamers have made careers off the back of Fortnite, with some rising to prominence in the community simply due to their elite skill at the game. Our next subject is an individual who did just that. Kyle Giersdorf, an American pro Fortnite player with a massive online following in the esports world. While his lifestyle as a pro gamer certainly comes with perks such as fame and fortune, there is a dark side to being a pro gamer, as there's guys out there that hate your guts, and some of them are willing to put your life in danger to simply make a point. Kyle Giersdorf, born December 30th of 2002, is better known online by his alias Bugha. Bugha is a 3-time Fortnite Champion Series winner and won the Fortnite World Cup in 2019. His skill at the game is matched by only a handful of players in the world. The young man was first introduced to the Battle Royale title by his own father, who also shared Kyle's interest in gaming. Kyle was introduced to the game shortly after its release. An avid fan of FPS games, he would become completely addicted, his addiction paying off in elite gameplay. In 2018, Kyle began playing for the esports team No Clout. After much success, he would move to the Sentinels gaming team from 2019 until 2022. Currently, he plays for the Dignitas esports organization. His YouTube channel at the time of this recording has over 4 million subscribers, and his Twitch channel has over 5.3 million followers. Bugha is renowned by nearly everyone in the Fortnite community for his skill, but this guy might have some of the worst luck ever when it comes to popular Fortnite content creators, as unfortunately he's been subjected to numerous controversies over the years, almost none of which have been created by him. In July of 2019, after a hard-fought tournament, Kyle managed to win the Fortnite World Cup solo competition at only 16 years old. This win granted him a $3 million prize pot, making him one of the highest earning players in all of esports. This was an incredible accomplishment for a gamer of his age, but sadly, there were those out there that wanted to spoil the moment for this guy. Yes, unfortunately, when an online content creator makes a remarkable accomplishment in the public eye, there's a small group out there that will attempt to launch mean-spirited attacks to ruin these moments. In the case of Kyle, just minutes after winning the championship, Kyle's Twitch and Twitter accounts were both compromised by hackers. The individuals who hacked Kyle's Twitter would brag about their deed, promoting their own Twitter accounts in front of millions and stating, quote, "We in the VIP lounge popping bottles." They also announced a live stream would be occurring in 10 minutes. What followed were the hackers commandeering Bugha's Twitch channel and spending money from the account that was linked to his Twitch channel to give out gifted subscribers to the people who visited the page. So this is like some pretty egregious hacking here. You know, one of the biggest esports creators ever, all of his shit with millions of followers is just being commandeered, which this really had to have sucked because, you know, Kyle likely wanted to celebrate this moment and really just be present, but now he had to worry about his livelihood, you know, being compromised. This situation proved to be quite the headache, but thankfully Kyle would manage to get his accounts back. And despite the infraction, he would later go on to celebrate his victory. However, this wouldn't be the end of the onslaught from his jealous online haters, as after this incident, malicious online detractors would launch a campaign against him that would put Bugha's life in danger. About a month after the hacking, in August of 2019, Kyle was live streaming himself playing Fortnite with his esports team. All is well initially, but sometime into the broadcast, something seems amiss. At one point during the stream, you can hear Kyle talking to his father, who appears off screen. His father seemed to have been trying to get his attention, but Kyle, busy with the stream, tells him that he can't talk and is in the middle of a game.
I'm just weak now. Do you have bandies or any heals?
Of your solo.
I
have
got
no
one
heals,
so
no heals.
weak, bro. Literally so weak.
Okay.
I'm literally screaming. Dad, I actually can't.
Alright, we're not gonna have the match the whole night. We have to drop them the kills.
However, his dad persists in trying to get his attention, and you know, his dad's privy of him being a streamer, so Kyle thinks this is kind of weird and begins to worry that something is seriously wrong. So he gets up and leaves the game. You know, his esports team still trying to capture the W in this Fortnite game, and Kyle goes to check out what's going on.
Hey. Stuff's coming with you.
I'm out of
I
map
got
now.
swatted.
I have no heals.
Shockwave, out of zone.
Got it.
Wait. Nice.
Can you charge us?
Yeah.
Got him. No, I have no map.
Yeah.
Layer below you, Bugha. Off shield. What the fuck? fuck are you talking to?
Bruce literally talking to his dad right now.
Knock another.
Bugha's team is initially confused on why Kyle had just randomly dipped out and left them to dry. However, despite his absence, his skilled teammates still managed to get a victory royale even with Kyle AFK. But of course now they were worried about Kyle. What was the deal here? Well, it turns out that he had been swatted. Yes, apparently an anonymous online detractor had called Kyle's local police department claiming that Kyle had shot his dad and taken his mom hostage.
Power said he just shot his father with an AK-47. Said he tied up his mother in the garage and he shot him up and down his body.
This devious swatter was very meticulous with his efforts as he made sure to call this in when Bugha's stream had a peak viewership of like several thousands of viewers. This anonymous guy was likely looking for Bugha to get hurt on camera. Thankfully though, this swatting didn't result in violence. Kyle would later explain to his stream that while the cops were initially hostile during the SWAT, one of those that arrived actually recognized him as they were a local in the community and were familiar with his streaming activity. When this cop realized it was Kyle, he told everybody to chill out and the SWAT was essentially over. They realized it was bogus. Thankfully, nobody was harmed in what could have potentially been a bloody situation. In the wake of this incident, the Upper Pottsgrove Township authorities in Pennsylvania opened an investigation to track down the individual responsible for calling in the SWAT. At the time of me recording this video, the investigation is still ongoing. Bugha, by all accounts, is one of the least problematic Fortnite streamers out there, and I hate that there's people, you know, that are willing to mess with him to this degree just because he's successful. Hopefully those who swatted him will get punished. And well, you've made it to the end. Let me know what you guys thought about this video down below in the comments section and let me know who or what you want me to talk about next. I want to give a major shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys. Wavy Web Surf out. Peace.